On August 13th of 2015, a group of friends were traveling by car in the dead of night when something pretty terrifying appeared on the road. The vehicle's dashcam captured not only this creepy encounter, but also the reaction of those inside the car. Although not much else is known about the video, the group's response is enough to let us know that what they'd seen has left them disturbed. This is what they saw.
Это что за призрак? Труба! Жесть! Жесть! Пацаны!
Давай подать! Давай подать! Давай круталя сделаем, еще посмотрим.
Офигеть! Давай открой дверь! На видео, видите! На видео! Снимите! Я ногу вытащу. Ну ладно, я боюсь. Давай, давай! Я сниму. Ты боишься, сейчас прикинь, ее нет там. Открой окно, сейчас я ногу вытащу. Знаешь, быстрее! Сейчас ты должен развернуться. Видео. Давай. Она опять руку сама сейчас испугается. Жесть, что сейчас стало. Жесть! Я сейчас с ним взглядом переглянулся!
On the side of the road, there appears to be a tall figure dressed in black. It stands completely still, looking straight at the vehicle as it passes by. Understandably, the men screamed upon seeing this eerie figure. But even more unsettling is that when the group had circled back to this exact spot, the figure was still there. Now it's unclear if the guys were drinking that night, but if so, then this definitely sobered them up. Whether ghost or not, I think it's safe to assume that the next time they drive home at night, they'll be taking a different route. Jerry Bruce is a father who loves spending time with his children. If you hop over to his channel, you'll find that most of his videos have a wholesome quality to them. However, out of all the videos on there, two in particular stand out from the rest. These two videos are different in that they show something that doesn't fit with the family-friendly content of this channel. If anything, they seem to have come from a horror movie, one that is based on a family terrorized by paranormal activity. As it turns out though, that's exactly the case here. Jerry has been encountering strange occurrences in his home that seem to be paranormal in nature. On May 26 of 2009, he is suddenly woken up by a strange noise inside his living room. He immediately grabs his phone and begins to record. Jerry writes, "I have never seen anything like this. My wife and I were awakened by the sound of a door closing. This video is all I got before me and my family left the house." This is what he caught.
I don't know if everybody can see this, and I've done it.
Strangely, the handle on the other side of the door is being turned as though someone inside were doing this. But, as shown in the video, no one is in there. An encounter like this would definitely spook anyone. But then again, there are some who might write this off as being caused by a draft entering the handle's lock. Although it isn't sure if that's the case, it's the second video that seemingly dispels this notion. On July 11 of 2009, Jerry's recording his son when all of a sudden, something really creepy happens. Take a look.
Whoa!
The same closet from the first video can be seen opening on its own. Then, seconds later, a toy flips over by itself. It almost seems like whatever had been inside had tripped over this toy in its attempt to get to the child. It is immediately then that he grabs his son and rushes out of the living room at once. Understandably, Jerry was totally spooked. Viewers believe that he might be dealing with something paranormal. But, as with most videos, it's hard to be sure if that's so. Could it be that a supernatural presence resides in Jerry's closet? Or is something else going on here? You be the judge. A home security camera shows a couple sleeping inside their bedroom when something extremely creepy happens. On June 19 of 2022, user Chubby Gooby and her husband had caught footage of something that, according to them, words cannot explain. Chubby writes, "I feel incredibly uncomfortable posting this because I feel like it could be uncomfortable for many people, but I strongly feel it's important to show what has been happening in our home." It goes without saying, but this video has left them terrified. This is what they caught.
Hello everyone, this is our experience on June 19th, 2022. I would like to thank you all for your continued support during this difficult time. I was fully asleep at this point and I was trying to wake up. We were both half asleep at this point, and I don't really remember what happened exactly. I just heard a sound. It wasn't until we watched the video.
It's almost as though something had entered the room, closed the door behind it, and began to move things around. The couple can't think of anything to explain this, which is why they posted the video.
If you guys have any actual explanation like that's scientific to why these things are happening to us, that would actually put us at ease. I have had a few experiences at my house before this one, but nothing to this extent. So, I don't know. I think it might be following me.
Unfortunately, posting the video has made them feel even more unsettled, as many viewers suggest that they should leave the house immediately. They believe that an evil presence has made itself known. Although it's not sure what exactly is haunting the couple, many believe that the house isn't safe to be in. But of course, what do you think? What exactly is going on in this clip? There has yet to be a definitive answer to this question. Captures something pretty spooky. According to the mother, she had placed the camera inside her child's bedroom to see why her daughter would wake up every night around the same time. She would often hear strange noises inside her daughter's bedroom, and sometimes she would hear another voice as though someone else were inside the room. By placing the camera inside, the mother thought she would discover what was happening in there. But, unbeknownst to her, the footage she captured would leave her slightly unsettled. In the video, her daughter suddenly wakes up and starts talking as though she were having a conversation with another person. Mind you, that this often happens late at night. This is what was captured. The mother thinks that her daughter might have been talking to a spirit. She believes that the spirit might have actually been her daughter's grandmother who recently passed away. She can't help but think this, as her daughter talks to the supposed spirit like how she does with relatives. Considering that this usually happens late at night, and the fact that the camera moved at the start of the clip, the mother finds this video to be paranormal. Although it's hard to be certain if that's the case, the video is nonetheless pretty strange. Who, or even what, had the daughter been talking to? You might recall from a previous video about a woman named Lauren Combs who lives in a house in the middle of nowhere. Ever since moving in, she can't shake the feeling that something is haunting her. Lauren tries her best to ignore this feeling, but there have been countless instances of her dog Luna seeing things that she can't, and many other strange occurrences that are thought to be paranormal in nature. Although most of these incidents are pretty creepy, it's the most recent video that was captured that is by far the most unsettling. It's close to midnight when the following takes place inside Lauren's living room. Lauren writes, "Ignoring it is out of the question now. I'm just going to document what I can and start to reach out to people that can help." This is her footage. Strangely, Lauren's dog begins to whimper before an object falls on its own. Following this occurrence, a doorbell starts to go off on its own, as the footage outside shows no one at the front door. Now, as many viewers have stated, opening the door may not have been a good idea, as according to them, whatever was ringing the doorbell is now inside. Although it isn't sure if something was let in, the following incident seems to suggest otherwise. It's 3 in the morning when out of nowhere, this happens.
Because my service thinks that I'm one. I gave you 6 points, I'm deducting 7. This is ridiculous. Don't make me think about numbers again. A brave and accurate decision. Yes, aye, Captain. Yes. Holy Captain, your horticulture is harvestable. Ah, good. Oh, thank you. Hurry happily, and Hank, he's hungry. Hallelujah.
All of a sudden, Lauren's hair is pulled by something. At first, Lauren thought that her cat had done this, but upon looking around, she noticed that her cat wasn't there. As you can imagine, she was left totally spooked. The activity in her home seems to be getting worse, and it seems that she isn't getting much help to solve this problem. But, of course, what are your thoughts? Is Lauren being haunted by something, or is something else going on here? A mountain climber from Mexico shares a chilling photo from his trip to the mountains. It was during a podcast that Jesus Olivares shared the image and recounted the story behind it. Doubtless, the picture is pretty creepy to say the least. In 2009, Olivares and a group of friends had traveled to one of the highest mountains in Mexico. The mountain is known as Pico de Orizaba, which has an elevation so high above sea level that it's nearly impossible to climb without an oxygen supply. Many believe that the mountain is uninhabitable for this reason, and therefore lacks civilization. However, many climbers have reported seeing silhouettes of people and other strange shadow-like figures when going up the mountain. While some think that this might have been other climbers in the area, many believe that this might have been the spirits of deceased individuals who tragically died during their climb. Now, Olivares admits to having seen things he couldn't explain. Perhaps this might have been the altitude sickness kicking in, as low levels of oxygen can cause people to hallucinate. But Olivares is certain that what he saw wasn't him just seeing things, but in fact, something real. And to prove it, he has a photo. In a podcast, Olivares claims to have seen shadows and heard distant voices while he and his friends ascended the mountain. These occurrences would come and go, but eventually stop at a certain point. They would continue climbing, feeling less spooked, before later stopping to take photos. Now, lots were taken, but one in particular would catch people's attention. After the trip was over, Olivares posted the pics on his social media and called it a day. But then, the day after, a strange comment was made below one of his photos, which read, "Nice pic, but who's the kid in the background?" Confused by the comment, Olivares, in response, asked, "What kid?" To which they replied, "The kid in the corner, who is that?" Olivares takes a closer look at the photo. He immediately got goosebumps. Olivares assures us that he and his friends, all adults, were the only ones present at the site. Initially thinking that it was just a rock, he shrugged it off as a case of pareidolia, but upon closer examination, there is clearly a child's face. It doesn't make any sense that someone, let alone a child, would be this high up in the mountain by themselves. Only explanation he can think of is that this was a paranormal incident. But of course, it is solely a theory among many others who've seen the picture. The photo continues to haunt him to this day, even though it was taken back in 2009, and the lack of an explanation reassures him that something paranormal occurred. But as always, what do you think? Did Olivares capture something paranormal? Or might there be a rational explanation for this? Feel free to let me know what you think down below. This next video, a man is hiking in a secluded forest when he stumbles upon a small house that seems to be abandoned. After hesitating at first, he later decides to get close to the property. What happens next is pretty terrifying. This is what he caught.
Fan ass.
It appears that the house wasn't abandoned after all, yet it's unknown as to who or even what had been inside. Whether it was the owner of the house or something else, there's no denying that whoever or whatever this was has left the man completely disturbed. Maybe next time he'll think twice before entering a house in the middle of a forest. It was submitted by Aaron Tipsy, who states that a friend of his had sent him a creepy video. In it, Aaron's friend can be seen sleeping inside their bedroom when something downright terrifying is captured. It's around midnight when this is filmed. what better way to induce insomnia than by watching a video like this? Now it's worth mentioning that the same video can be found on TikTok. However, the context given for that video is different from the one that was submitted to me. Aaron states that his friend has no recollection of ever doing this in their sleep, whereas the one on TikTok states that they were fully conscious when they did this. Whether conscious or not, the imagery of this video is still nonetheless pretty disturbing. All in all, this video is a great source of nightmare fuel. Comes from James Fodder, who recently bought a doll from a secondhand store. Apparently, the doll is worth a lot more than what the store was selling it for. For this reason, James had bought the doll. However, ever since bringing it home, strange things have been happening. From hearing strange noises at night to seeing doors open and close on their own, James suspects that the doll might be responsible for the unusual activity. And so, he decides to record the doll in front of a camera inside an empty room. He hopes to capture footage of something that would prove it's haunted. Initially, nothing odd is captured in the first few days of recording, but then, one night, something very strange happens. Now the camera that he uses is programmed to move wherever it picks up movement, so if something moves, it will point to that object. We can see it doing that in this footage, but strangely, the camera pans around the room as though it's picking up movement from somewhere. This is what was captured. Could it be that the camera is detecting an unseen presence? Or is it just not functioning properly? Although it's likely that there's a problem with the camera, something really creepy happens 2 nights later inside the room, which has made him think that the camera was actually picking up something. James is away from home when the following happens. He writes, "Just wow, I've been leaving the closets open in case anyone thinks I'm hiding inside. I don't even know what to say." This is what was captured. Out of James's bathroom comes out what appears to be a dark, shapeless figure. It seems to dart across the floor before disappearing from sight. James believes that this may have been the apparition that was being picked up earlier by the camera. He also thinks that this mysterious figure might be attached to the doll. Ever since then, he's been filming more at night. Little does he know that he'd be capturing something way more terrifying than this. James is sleeping in his room upstairs when the following happens. On camera, the doll moves on its own. It appears to move for just a few seconds before abruptly stopping. Feeling very unsettled, James posts the footage online to see if anyone could explain this video. It's not sure if he'll continue to hold on to this doll based on what occurred, but it might be best if he keeps it locked up inside this room, as an occurrence like this definitely warrants it. When it comes to videos on poltergeist activity, it seems that the most believable ones are those in which the video was initially recorded for a different reason. In this case, YouTuber Mowgli85 was recording the trailer for the Simpsons movie from the film's official website for the sole purpose of uploading the trailer to his channel. However, while videotaping the trailer, something pretty creepy happens.
This summer, between honor and dishonor, between family and enemies, between July and August, a line will be drawn, and then colored in yellow. Run! Run! Jump! Jump! Run! Run! Well, we better update. I'm sure we can put all that behind us. On July 27th, a secret will be revealed. You see the 4 states that border Springfield, Ohio? Maine and Kentucky.
Out of nowhere, things begin to move on their own. Now, after rewatching the video, viewers had pointed out that the Ouija board in the corner of the room might be the reason as to why all this is happening. According to Mowgli, he'd been playing with it prior to this incident. So, according to viewers, it makes sense that something like this would occur. But what do you think? Is this actual footage of something paranormal? Or is it simply a video that's been staged? There has yet to be a definitive answer to this question. Jacob lives in a house that he recently inherited from his grandmother. Jacob isn't too sure if he wants the house, as it's out of shape and requires a lot of fixing. But after the following incident, it seems that he's already made up his mind. It's late at night when Jacob wakes up to a noise inside his bedroom. This is what he caught.
I just heard knocking from the closet.
A knocking sound can be heard coming from the closet. However, when he checks inside, nothing is in there. But then, moments later, loud banging can be heard from the other side of the room. Clearly, Jacob was spooked out of his mind. Yet something else happened that Jacob didn't realize until rewatching this video. At the start of the clip, the clown doll on top of the drawer can be seen staring at the bed, but then later, it is seen staring at the door. Ever since seeing this, Jacob has moved the doll downstairs to the living room. He states that it came alive that night and is glad that he caught evidence of it. Although pretty spooky, the video remains a mystery. But thanks to this incident, Jacob has made up his mind on whether or not he should keep the house. Overall though, what happened that night has left him beyond terrified. Zoe Bruno and her family live on a farm that they believe is haunted. Based on videos that Zoe has posted, viewers believe that it's not just haunted, but also cursed. In a recent video, Zoe shared that one of her pigs had given birth to a pair of baby pigs born with unusual deformities. Unfortunately, they were born dead. Now this was unlike anything the family has ever seen. Because of this, along with other strange occurrences, they believe that something very odd is happening on their farm. But then one night, something really terrifying was caught on camera. Zoe's sister was home alone when she heard weird noises coming from the pig stable outside. She began to record immediately. This is what was caught.
Hola chicos, estoy grabando este video porque mi papá y mi mamá se fueron a comprar una cosa en el almacén y mi hermano Seban está en la pieza, pero yo sentirlo alojado por acá. No sé qué está pasando, pero quiero tratar de grabar. ¡Ah! Miren eso. ¡Ah! ¡Ah!
If you look close enough, you can see what appears to be a face peeping from behind a wooden post. Whoever, or whatever this is definitely unsettling to look at. Naturally, Zoe's sister had reacted the way she did. She's alive and well, but mentally, she is not okay, for what she'd seen in the stable has left her shaken up. Her family has no idea as to what she'd seen, but viewers seem to think that it was something supernatural. Until Zoe posts more footage, we won't know for sure what this was. Currently, there is yet to be an update on this whole incident. As with most videos found online, this next one has little to no information. It is still nonetheless very strange. Although not enough context is given on the clip, a viewer of the video comments that it came from someone who's been dealing with unusual occurrences at home. They placed a camera inside their bedroom to capture the strange events that often happen inside. It appears to be late at night when the following happens. Watch. The man is suddenly lifted off the bed as though something is pulling him upwards from his feet. In a panic frenzy, the man scoots all the way over to the other end of the bed, seemingly trying to make sense of what just happened. The video then cuts to black. The lack of a backstory to this video keeps it shrouded in mystery, making it a bit harder to know what exactly occurred. But what's your stance on this? Real or not? I'll let you be the judge. Someone who in the video seems to be taking in the view of the river before them. All appears to be normal until the camera catches something in the distance. Upon zooming in, it becomes apparent that whatever was caught on camera had most likely ruined the mood of the person recording. Now there isn't that much info on the clip, but it still speaks for itself. This is what was captured.
Domingo, curtindo de uma cachoeira em Leeds, Rio de Janeiro. Reparem o visual na mata. Agora o melhor de tudo é essa queda d'água. Muita água. Muita força. Uhul! E caraca! Uma coisa ali. Caraca, apareceu um cara ali no meio da água. Mozinho! Mozinho, você viu o cara no meio da água? Caraca! Ali, mozinho!
Not too far from the camera, there seems to be someone or something bathing in the roaring rapids of the river. After being splashed by countless river waves, the figure all of a sudden vanishes. It's as though the waves had washed away the shadowy form, but then suddenly, it comes back for a split second before being taken away by the river again. Now, even if we don't know what the person behind the camera is saying, we can hear it in their voice how surprised they are by the strange figure in the distance. Unfortunately, the lack of info on this video makes it likely that we'll never know for sure who or what was seen. The next video has very little information, but it still speaks for itself. A child is seen sleeping in their crib, when all of a sudden, something pretty creepy is caught on camera. It's worth noting that this incident took place at exactly 3:33 a.m., which many people believe means something. Whether it signifies something good or bad, the incident itself is pretty strange. The child is sleeping when this happens. For some mysterious reason, the child wakes up and then quickly stands before staring at something in the room. They stare at whatever it is that's in the dark, when seconds later, a toy or some sort of music box goes off by itself. Then, without warning, the crib shakes on its own. No other information is given on this video, and the original source is unknown, but I'll leave it to you to come up with your own conclusions on this footage.